Welcome to BeerNet Radio. Listen to on every continent except Antarctica. B-E-E-R-R-N-E-T.
Beer.
BeerNet Radio.
Whoa, what up?
Very. Got a nice glare there going.
Yeah. I'm going to have to figure that out. Luckily, we have a good 2 minutes. When was the last time you've been to a gentleman's club, Jordan?
Probably my bachelor party.
I conspicuously was not invited to that.
That was very conspicuous.
Intentional, and I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad I was not.
But you're going to your son's.
Is that weird? I think we already talked about that. Is that weird? I don't know. The glare's not any better over here, but this is the best I could do on such short notice.
No, it's better.
I was going to try and make it home I was at Melissa's house, and I was going to try and make it home, and then I lost track of time, and I was like, you know what? This is the best I can do. I'm at Elmira Soul. Hello, Jen.
Can you hear
Jen,
me?
I don't think your mic's on. Oh, good. We're all at undisclosed locations.
Well, they're painting the house. So we had our foundation shifted a few months ago. And so, of course, it looks like there was an earthquake, and they're finally patching it all up. So,
well,
Nice.
That's funny because, the 95-year-old house that I live in, like there's a fault line, like the San Andreas fault goes right down the middle of the house, and the house is literally splitting itself apart. Like you can see the nails just barely holding on in the attic, trying to just keep it all together.
And that's not a side-by-side duplex, right?
It's an up and down. So yes, they would fall right on me.
so yes.
Yeah, I'm in the bottom floor. So, and I can hear everything they do up there. Just every step they take, every move they make. It's like a bad Sting song, like a creepy police song.
Remind me, did you get this house inspected, Harry?
I did. It was the longest inspection. This guy's been in business for 40 years, and this was the longest inspection he's ever done. He said it was 85 pages. It was actually hard to get the house insured. Like the insurance company was like, yeah, we're not going to insure that piece of shit. And so we had to go to like a janky Happy Bills insurance, Happy Dave's out in, Missouri. Anyway.
Happy Dave's.
Well, we have Forrest Dein here from JuneShine. Is that right, Forrest Dein?
Yeah, and Greg's Serrao from
Greg.
But both founders.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, let's see what we got.
You look like Groucho Marx right now because your top sunglasses just look like big eyebrows.
Oh. That's the look I was going for. Groucho Marx. You know what I love, Jordan?
What's that?
I like to bed down at night with my dog, and I get her dog bowl in the bed with me, and I pour a little JuneShine in there, and then I take the rest of the bottle, and it's both of our gut health is healthy, plus we get a little buzz on, and just it helps us smooth out before we go to sleep. Hello, Forrest.
How's it going?
I can't believe you cut in on my conversation here, and we happen to be talking about JuneShine. That is a remarkable coincidence. Forrest and Greg.
I'm back.
Well, thank you. And we have Forrest. Is that Greg I see there?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
It's good to see you guys.
See you.
Well, first of all, thank you for being on BeerNet Radio. We know that this is really what you've been gunning for your entire career. It's the Joe Rogan of beer. And I all of our 8 listeners agree that it's the top podcast.
I love it.
No, but
Sorry, there's somebody with a chainsaw over here, so I have to keep muting
I know
myself.
none of us are in our offices. Obviously, we're taking President's Day really seriously over here. And
President's Week, you know?
we're all in different bars. All right. Well, first of all, hey, thank you for sponsoring this summit. I appreciate that. We all appreciate it. I hope you got value out of that. So tell us a little bit, JuneShine, hard kombucha, how you got into it, how you guys got into this business in the first place.
Go ahead, Forrest.
Yeah. So Greg and I actually went to college together at the University of San Diego. The original Ballast Point tasting room, home brew mart, was right across the street. So we would walk over there in between classes and get these $1 tasters, and that kind of turned us on to craft beer. And before that, I grew up in Maui, Hawaii, and didn't know anything about good quality beer out there. And went to San Diego, met him freshman year. I had a car on campus and he didn't have a car. So it was kind of like, if you were the kid with the car, you had a lot of fake friends. They're like, oh, he's got a car. I need rides to go to different places. So he became an early friend. And then we always wanted to start a business.
Always the guy with the car ends up being, the guy with the car is the one with all the juice, right?
Yep. And both of our dads were entrepreneurs, actually. So I think we had that bug in us. And fast forward to when we graduated, we had a lot of ideas in college. None of them were very good. Happy we didn't try to start any of them. We graduated. I got into content creation, moved back to Hawaii. Greg went to Wall Street and learned how to,
Suffer.
and build a business and understand.
Okay, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
So you went to Hawaii to do social media.
Yep.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Okay. And then Greg goes to Wall Street and actually grinds. Okay, now I'm getting it straight. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead.
You can probably see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he would call me every 6 months. He's like, oh, Wall Street's, it's crazy, but it's a lot of work. And I'm just like, I'm on the beach. Like, this is great. And then we talk about ideas and we're like, yeah, this one's not that good. And we check in another 3 or 6 months later. And then I got a call one day with the hard kombucha idea, and just a light bulb went off. It just seemed like the right idea at the right time. We'd been started to eat healthier, drink healthier, noticed every other category in grocery stores was innovating. And for some reason, it felt like beer, wine, and spirits, there was a lack of transparency, a lack of these better for you products. And this was, 2017.
Yeah. It seems obvious now,
Yeah.
right? But like, this is like pre-seltzer craze.
Right. And it's funny because we've had several entrepreneurs on this podcast, and almost everyone, it's like beer, wine, and spirits have been really slow to get onto this ingredients transparency train. And I think that is testament to the big producers just kind of being blind to it for one reason or another. And that's created a gap for entrepreneurs like you to come in and really make hay. And I think it's awesome. I love to see more young people coming into the industry, doing fun things.
Yeah. So there was actually a Maui kombucha bar that I grew up going to before I was 21. I couldn't go to the real bar, and they would set that all the kids would go there and get booched. And I think they didn't really know how to ferment, and it was probably like 2 or 3% kombucha. So we would go and get a little buzz and take growlers down to the beach. So that
Forrest is also
turned
a
us
lightweight. So that
Yeah,
like, that would
2%.
work. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's a lightweight. You could get drunk off a banana, dude. Come on.
Like Lindsay Lohan.
rotten banana.
With, Listerine over here. Yeah.
So that turned us on to kombucha, and I got a call out of the blue, and Greg was like, hey, we should start a hard kombucha brewery. We should move back to San Diego. And fast forward, literally about 4 or 5 weeks later, he had quit his job in Wall Street. I had moved back to San Diego. We started brewing in a garage. Quickly realized we didn't know how to brew. We didn't know anything, especially how to brew. So luckily San Diego's got some of the best craft brewing talent in the country. So we were able to put together a team of advisors and met people in the industry and helped get us off the ground, and started brewing in the garage in probably April 2018. And fast forward, we started self-distributing. Fast forward 2 months, we were selling 100% of what we can make, and put down a little deposit on a brew pub in North Park and opened the first hard kombucha bar, California, in June 2018. And from there, it just took off. We maxed that facility out in a few months, signed a real distributor agreement with Scout, raised some money and bought the old Ballast Point location in Scripps Ranch. And then from there, it was kind of off to the races.
It seems like a lot of folks that have kind of lived off the entrails of the Ballast Point fallout,
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
I know what you
Gift that keeps on giving, if
Yeah.
you will.
I had I was having a drink with Bill from Athletic like 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about how it's kind of metaphorical in a way that some of the assets Ballast Point has sold. They sold to our kombucha brewery and then to a non-alc brewery, and I think it shows a lot about kind of where the growth is right now. But I mean,
For sure.
without the
And
craft
when you
beer,
say you met with Bill
Yeah.
Schufelt, was that in San Diego?
yeah.
Oh, so that was at the Beer, Wine, and Spirit Summit that we hosted.
No.
Just putting in a gracious, a gratuitous plug. Sorry.
I will say the beer wine and the beer wine spirit summit was amazing. Yeah,
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
It was really good. We were really happy to be there. I wish you'd do it in San Diego every year.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So and you start a hard kombucha bar, you get distribution, and then what?
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
still, I mean, getting distribution is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And once you're there, then what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at that point in time, the category, it was really bootstrap. They had been around for 2.5 years. They had built a strong,
Yeah.
they improved product market fit in San Diego. They had a loyal audience. They were in these 22-ounce brown glass bombers. So when we launched, we came out with a 16-ounce can, and that just made the category at a much lower price point. That made the category a little bit more accessible. So that just kind of accelerated things forward. And then from there, we signed with Stone and opened up our Los Angeles distribution. And then I think people saw where the category was headed, and we started getting a lot of inbound, but it was still the early days. There's a huge question mark on it. And Greg had to hit the road and really, go to, now we're in almost 30 states, but had to go convince all those different distributors that it's not just a Southern California cool kids Erewhon product, but there's demand for this outside of Southern California. So that was really 2019, 2020, was just building our distribution network. We've signed all with small craft distributors in most of our markets. So that took us a long time.
Yeah, like if you went to the Beer and Wine Spirit Summit, you would know that all the conversation is about this fourth category or better for you. And, there's so much in question about how do we keep growing beer and what even is beer today, right? And everyone, all the different speakers that you had were in their own way talking about some subcategory, whether it's like hard tea, canned cocktails, hard kombucha, so on. And I think that like you definitely know this, but that was not the case like 4 years ago. So, at first it was like definitely running uphill, but I think going back to your question and like when you're saying like, and then what, like we hired some really good people. So we have some people who were like fortunate enough to convince to come on early on that have built really great businesses, whether they were, the head of a production facility or the head of sales. And so I think that's probably what's helped us get from, where we were then to where we are now, and hopefully to where we need to go.
Yeah, and we also invested really early on in our brand. So from the beginning, we wanted to build a lifestyle platform brand for better for you alcohol, and not just a hard kombucha product on the shelf. And that meant building an ambassador team. So we had athletes, artists, and creatives invest and actually get equity in the brand when we were still too small to be able to pay any of these ambassadors. And they really helped build the lifestyle brand around JuneShine. So there's a point when it almost felt like the JuneShine brand was bigger than our category locally, and now it's catching up. But I think that really propelled us as well. As we opened these different markets, we had instant rate of sale because we built this national following on social media before we had really scaled the product into these different markets. And we did that through 2 different fundraisers. We also got introduced to Peter Rahal, who was the founder of rxbar early on, and he's acted as a mentor. And really, we've tried to surround ourselves with people who are smarter than us, more successful, and just better at something, and just to learn as much as we can. So we've been lucky to have these different people.
Well, I don't know if anybody's smarter than you, but I do, there are people with more experience, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
in the industry.
You don't know us. It's not hard to find people smarter than us.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody smarter than I am.
Exactly.
I do surround myself with people who are less, autistic, or I don't have less weird. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about you. So let's get back to what's the name? What's JuneShine?
Yeah, so Jun kombucha is made with honey and green tea. We felt like that Jun kombucha brew is a little more palatable, and we call it the champagne of kombuchas.
So is it JuneShine? Am I pronouncing it
No,
wrong?
it's JuneShine, and we were going to call it Jun something, but we felt like we'd be correcting people for the next 10 years of our lives. So we
That's a
decided
great point.
June, adding an E was made it a lot more understandable. And also we opened in June, so it kind of worked out perfect. It feels like a summery sunshine beverage.
And
But
it rhymes with moonshine.
Exactly. So
you know.
it sounds like alcohol. But the real story is we were in the garage brewing and someone was walking by and it looked like Breaking Bad. There was tanks and carboys and just brewing
Y'all
equipment
cooking meth?
everywhere. It looked like we were cooking meth. It looked like he was Walter White and I was the other guy that you don't want to be, Jesse. And
Did you get to the movement?
and the guy was walking by and I was like, are you guys making moonshine in there? Can I have some? And we are like, no, you can't have some. And no, it's not moonshine. But our buddy looked and was like, JuneShine. We've been trying to come up with a pun off of Jun for probably 4 months. And JuneShine just stuck when this guy said, are you making moonshine? And we ran with it.
I'm gonna get in here before Harry continues to suck all of the air out of the room.
that-
all of
that
it
is-
flopping
that is
like
a-
fish.
that is a wise move,
Christ.
Jen. I'm gonna go ahead
Anyway.
and put myself on mute and just sit here and listen. Okay.
Talk about putting yourself on mute and then put yourself on mute. Anyway,
I think she lost connection. That
Oh,
was her moment too.
Jen.
Jen.
you're
here I
the-
am. I'm back. You can't do
All
that to me, Harry. That was a very good trick. Anyway, hey guys, what I think y'all have left out of the story so far is that you're now the top hard kombucha producer in the States, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty incredible, having, just started a few years ago. There was already a category leader, and then G&T as well, right? I mean, they're pretty huge, non-alc, but it's a pretty easy
Mhm.
segue into alc. So what would you say is the top thing you guys did in order to reach that preeminence so fast? Was it the marketing? Was it the canning? Was it, your wholesale network, retail? What was it?
Yeah. So I think first off, like we try to say, like you have to have the right product, the right brand, the right people. I think that there's a lot of good hard kombuchas on the market, but some of them are very almost too kombucha forward, in my personal opinion. So we wanted to have something that was like, we kind of call it the barbecue test. Like, can you bring this to a barbecue and will people drink them during the barbecue? We're very much like a brunch to sunset drink. Granted, you can also keep drinking them past sunset, but was it going to be refreshing, right? So we kind of tried to build a profile around that, which goes back to the June piece, like the green tea and the honey. It just makes for like a lighter drink. And then I also think, to Forrest's point, focusing on the brand and trying to focus a little less on like why you need to drink hard kombucha and more on, hey, we're better for planet alcohol. And that kind of goes back to the purpose. Like, and just to be clear, like when we thought about this idea, like we really thought about, there's got to be this demand for like better for you, relatively more sustainable alcohol soon. It wasn't that we just loved hard kombucha so much that we wanted to have alcohol in it so we could drink it all day long. Like that was like, we decided to go in hard kombucha after kind of coming up with this thesis. And so when we built out the brand, instead of being in people's face about like hard kombucha, we were like, what we are in the images we show are, which are authentic, is like, this is a healthier version of alcohol and a more sustainable version. So I think those two things resonated with a lot of people: refreshing and the purpose.
Did you ever consider not going in a can?
Yeah, that was when
So
Forrest and I like one of the things about starting business with your best friend is it's like it can be really good or really bad. Like the really good stuff is that like what the other person is thinking and you can make decisions way faster. Like we lived together for almost 2 years when we started the company, much to disdain of his girlfriend. But I guess where I'm going with that is we figured out early on we need to like not step on each other's toes. So I was like, we need to go in these right bottles. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And Forrest was like, basically, let me handle all this. Then Forrest came in with the can idea. It's also cheaper and more sustainable. So there was a brief moment.
Our product is what I love about hard kombucha is you can get these amazing colors where like most seltzers are clear, most beers are somewhat of a similar color. Our products are acai berries, purple, our blood orange mint's pink. Our Midnight Painkiller is a dark, almost black color. And if we could put them in a clear glass bottle, I actually do think from a marketing perspective, it would just pop on the shelf because you have all these clear seltzers and cans, and all of a sudden you're like, what is this beautiful, bright, colorful product? But just from a quality perspective, that's when the quality team comes in and is like, you do not want to put, a re-fermentable kombucha in a clear glass bottle on the shelf. So
Well,
now,
I mean, others have
Yeah.
done it to, I think,
Yeah.
disastrous results, but
Yeah.
also I think you're very, I don't know if lucky is the word, but cans are the package du jour now. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't,
We'll take
you know,
luck.
the only people who are going to bottles at this point are just trying to be different to the
Yeah.
cans, it's like a differentiating thing, but
Right.
that's cool.
Well, let's talk about the big news. And it's all, I mean, I feel like the conversation's been leading up to this because we've talked about your name. You don't have hard kombucha in your name. You've talked about how you're not just a hard kombucha company, you're a better for you bev-alc brand. And so now you're doing something more than hard kombucha.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the canned cocktail.
By the way, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
go.
We'll cut this in post. The canned cocktails were in the ad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was so funny because it was somebody on the production side of it pointed it out. I was like, they were like, I don't think this is out there yet as news. I was like, what? And I was looking at the proofs of the ad. I was like, no, that is not out there. That is news. And so that was great. Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to push it.
Thanks for breaking it.
Yeah, we just wanted
Subliminal.
subliminal. Yeah, feel like, I've seen this.
So anyways, we I mean, the hard kombucha category is growing a lot, and we have like a ton of our distribution still super limited. There's a lot of room for growth there, but we started a company to be a better for you brand. So we want to go into another category, and we kind of looked at the occasions that like occasion-based drinking, and we said, our consumers, what occasions are we not really fitting into? And could we offer them a product that fit our values and a new occasion? And we settled on canned cocktails. And just to be clear, like it's not like a spirit-based seltzer. We're really going high ABV, 2 shots per can, real spirits, real ingredients, doing an ROA, no additives, 0 grams of added sugar. And they're cocktails, and hopefully love Mai Tai, margarita, different flavors of margaritas, vodka sodas, a ranch water, a mule, things like that. So those hit shelf 3-1.
And I think when we looked around at competitors, we looked at things like natural wines and the seltzer space, and there's already amazing, better for you brands in almost every other category. But in the high ABV canned cocktail space, we saw a lack of transparency and really high sugar products. And we felt like you could make a delicious 10% margarita with no added sugar. You don't need 29 grams of sugar to make a margarita taste good, we don't think. So that's where we really wanted to zero in on high ABV, low sugar canned cocktails. And that's where we saw the most opportunity in this kind of fourth wave.
What's the ABV?
So we've got 3 at 10% and 2 at 8%.
Holy shit.
The margarita is 10 and it's 2 shots per can. So a bit higher. All of our kombuchas are 6, so it's definitely a level up.
So
Okay.
go ahead, Harry.
Okay, so how? Sorry, I'm stuck in the
Let's just get
wind.
this out of the way.
You know what, Jordan, you ask the questions. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my 0 sugar added martini, and you ask the questions.
Just get your one out. I know you want to.
All right, fine. What is the price point, and what's the is it coming 4 packs, or what? Tell us the package configuration and where you're looking at kind of range and price.
Yeah. So we're launching 4 packs of standard 12-ounce cans, and we're looking to line price with Cutwater. So it'll be $12.99 for a 4-pack in Southern California when it launches. I'm sure some independents will be higher or lower than that, but in the chains, we're looking at $12.99 for a 4-pack.
And you're going through beer distributors, same distributors as JuneShine.
As of now. Yeah. We're only starting in SoCal.
We're also launching a 12-pack variety in Costco next week as well. That'll be a little bit higher price point.
And what states are y'all hitting first?
Yeah, so we're launching just in Southern California next week, and then we're actually going to launch a New Mexico as well as a little bit of a test. But then after that, In July, we're launching about 7 more states, all of our top hard kombucha markets. So New York, Denver, Colorado, NorCal, Hawaii, and more of the Northeast footprint. And then in October, later this year, we're going to scale more. We don't have the exact state list yet. We really want to use San Diego as our testing ground, make our mistakes here, and then scale this thing out from there. But going into 2023, we want to try and cover our whole footprint with this product.
And
Why Hawaii?
Because
you live there?
I'm from there.
yeah.
It's actually
A
one
little
of our,
bit. That's a little
it's
bit.
actually one of our top markets. We have a few ambassadors from there. We sell relatively really well there compared to some of our competitors, and we feel like there's a pretty big market for this product there. I think
That makes sense. I mean, Hawaii and Alaska are usually the very last 2 states that anybody rolls out, right? For obvious reasons. And so that is kind of I like that you're hey, let's hit Hawaii first. Fuck them.
And I think to me, this product is like you're on vacation by the pool and you want a canned cocktail, or you're partying with your friends. And I think there's something about the convenience of grabbing a 4-pack and going to the pool or the beach in Hawaii. I think these things are gonna crush out there. So.
And y'all's testing so far, like what have you learned between or the interaction with your current consumers?
No, it's not a good road soda. Would be one thing we learned. I think use case, like people really like having a party and having them. And I think it's just a little bit different of a time of day. Yeah.
Yes.
And I've talked to a lot of customers who feel like they can have a couple of our hard kombuchas, and then we kind of made this product for people like us. I tend to have 2 or 3 JuneShine kombuchas, and then I'll switch to tequila or something a little bit stronger later in the evening. So I've talked to a lot of people who say, this is already kind of follows my day trend if you're having a Saturday. So I think people are excited to be able to keep drinking our brand later into the night or in different occasions.
People have also said that the feedback we're getting is that, I mean, obviously we're in like the, start of where Cutwater was, right? So people are very familiar with canned cocktails here. And what we're getting the feedback is these taste like I can have more of them than whatever their other cocktail is they're used to having, because they don't have that same like sweetness that kind of sits like in your mouth and you almost taste your hangover the next day. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm tasting it right now. Anyway, go ahead, Jordan. Well,
no, so it sounds like your target consumers are pretty much the same. It's just different occasions.
It's a little more gender neutral as well. Hard kombucha trends pretty female, which is actually, I like that we have. It's kind of rare in the industry, but we think that this is going to open up, or it's going to widen our demographic. It goes, I think, instead of 24 to 35-year-old women that like to do yoga, which is most our consumers right now, this will go probably 21 to 60, 50-50 men and women, and just a lot more different occasions. We're going to focus more on live sports, live music. We're doing our first TV commercial during the Padres home opener, and it'll run for all of April and May in San Diego and LA. It's going to focus on the value props of the product, and we're doing a lot of billboards in different parts of San Diego that we haven't really focused on before, just because kombucha is more, it's just a little more niche. So we are using it as a way to really widen the demographics of the brand.
And do you think this could get bigger than the hard kombucha side of the business? And do you have any problem with that?
I think, okay, so I guess 2 separate questions, right? Do we have a problem with that? No, I think we want to best serve our consumers within our values, right? So as long as we're making, good, clean, transparent products, more sustainable, whatever it is consumers want, it's our job to deliver that. But do I think it can get bigger? I think we're really excited for it to launch. And I always get like, I'm not super superstitious, but before you launch something, I feel like everyone has these crazy opinions about this or that. And it's like, now more than ever, we just need to stay humble. Let's get it to market. Let's do a good job executing. Let's see how it does.
Right.
So you're not superstitious. You're just stitious.
Just a little.
Nailed
Just
it.
a little. You're a little stitious.
Little
All right.
stitious.
Lame joke. Dad joke.
And our hard kombucha will still be, close to 90% of our business this year, and growing over 50-60% year over year. So that's still like, we're still a hard kombucha brand, and we're, from an investment perspective, we're pushing that category and growing that nationwide. That's still our focus.
Tell me about, you've had a recent funding round. Is that true? And tell me how that went.
It went well.
Greg, that's a question for you, bud.
Get my
The
lawyers
Wall
on here.
Street guy.
No, it was great. Look, we raised most of the money that came in. All the equity financing that came in was from existing investors. So that's about as good as you can ask for, right? They know the story, they know the ups and downs, they know me and Forrest, and we were able to say, hey, look, things look good for the future, but we need to invest more resources to get to where we're going, and people got behind that. So I don't think it's like a fairly standard. There's nothing that we're doing significantly different from any of our other raises. It was just a little bigger. We're building out the rest of our brewery here at Scripps Ranch, and we're spending some more money building out the sales and marketing infrastructure. And we're going to work on 2 more retail locations. So yeah,
That's great. And where do y'all live? Do y'all live in San Diego or?
Yep. Our brewery is in Scripps Ranch, and Forrest and I both live up in North County. He lives in Encinitas. I live in Cardiff.
Not a bad place.
Come out anytime. I got a guest room.
Oh, you know what? Don't tell me that twice, but I'll be there. I love
awesome.
San Diego. I mean, is there any place better as far as climate and just general, just funability? That's a new word I just made up. Than San Diego. I mean, there's so much to do. It's great. It's just a great place. I think it's great what you guys have managed to accomplish. It's amazing, actually. It's nothing short of amazing.
Thank you.
You found a niche. You found a gap. You filled it. We're even bigger, much bigger companies with much more resources and much more industry contacts didn't see it. They just didn't see it, and you filled it, and you filled it well. And I think so. Tell us what's next. What's next for your company? Like beyond canned cocktails, is this a new platform? What are your dreams and hopes?
Yeah, I think for us, we would want to be a trusted alcohol brand that makes products in a better way for the younger generation. That's kind of like the grand vision, right? Like a household name. That's gonna take a long time. Obviously, our distribution nationally is like 5%. So we're still super small. We know
there's
that.
A lot of runway there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how important is social media? But go ahead with your answer, and then as a tag on to, I know I'm all over the place. Sorry.
No, man.
As a tag on, like, how important is like social media and DTC to your grand plan?
Yeah. So So I guess two separate things. I feel like a lot of times, Harry, the industry, when we talk, they use the word direct to consumer and e-commerce interchangeably. Only in alcohol. In every other industry, they were like, those are 2 different things. So, which we look at them as a little different. Like when you truly sell direct to consumer, you can build a bit better of a connection with the consumer. Anyways, honestly, direct to consumer for us is a marketing tool. So how do we grow our business, become that household name I'm talking about? From a marketing perspective, direct to consumer, but our sales channel, 90+% for now and forever will be wholesale. It's just how it works, for us. Social media, I don't touch that shit, so that's Forrest's ballpark.
I think it's important, but I think we're at an inflection point where we rode the wave as we're growing the brand, but I think people are looking for the next thing. People are tired of being on their phones all day. People are somewhat numb to another Instagram ad or another Instagram post. And I think people are actually looking for more real interactions with brands, whether those are in-person events
or metaverse
or
are we going IRL, or are we just going total meta?
One of our new tasting rooms is actually in the metaverse. So no, but I still am a huge fan and believer in social media. It's why we're one of the reasons why we got here as quickly as we did. But I don't think it's the future of beverage marketing. I think in-person experiences are, and again, I think things come in cycles, and everyone piled onto social media after these smaller brands figured it out, and it got too saturated, and now you have to go in the other direction and find where people are spending their time. So yeah,
that is probably one of the bigger insights that I think a lot of people are missing at this. Big corporations, of course, are always lagging about 3 or 4 years behind every, the zeitgeist. And I think you're right. I think we're at a saturation point, and getting into actual accounts, IRL, is the next frontier. The next frontier is the old frontier, is what I'm hearing you saying.
Yeah.
And I like what I'm hearing, because I like being in real person, in real life. And Jordan, is there anything else you would like to ask these gentlemen before we let them go?
The only other question I had was just on the production of canned cocktails. And are y'all doing that? Are y'all contracting that out? And if you are, is that something you want to bring in-house?
That's a great question. We've been kicking that around recently. Right now, we're not doing in-house, but we bring in spirits. We do all of our packaging, all of our juices, all of our spices in-house. And so we've partnered with, a few really good spirits companies. There's a company called Casa Orendain. It's one of the oldest businesses down in Mexico, and they're just an awesome family-run business. So we've been very particular about that for the JuneShine way. And I think you guys probably know this, we can never make tequila in the US, because then we'd have to call it something else. There's a lot of also people trying to take shortcuts with like these, I don't know, what do you call them?
There's like tequila with natural flavors. That's not actual tequila.
There's about to be a lot of like coverage on this, but anyways, we're old school. We use real tequila. For vodka and rum, it's something we would consider, but it's not like in the next 12 to 18 month roadmap.
But we are bringing in spirits and making 100% of the products in-house once the product is distilled. So our team is mixing and doing all the mixology and packaging and shipping it out from here.
Yeah.
All right. And that is one last question. Are you guys having fun?
Yeah. Right now we are.
Well, I mean, let me rephrase the question. What were your expectations going into this, and looking back, how do you feel now?
That's a great question. What do you think?
I didn't realize we were getting into a like wholesale manufacturing business as much as we are. In my head, I was always building a brand, and that's still the majority of what I do. But we're running a manufacturing facility and a wholesale distribution logistics. That side of the business is so important. And I think that I didn't know that going into it. And luckily we have great people who run that side of the business. But I think that was the biggest surprise to me. That's being operationally excellent and great at making products is the foundation. You can have an amazing brand, but if you can't figure that stuff out, you're not going to scale. So I think that was a wake-up call for me. And we've got a great team that handles it, but
that's great. Yeah. It's incredibly complex. And what I've always said is that beer and beverages are heavy. They're heavy relative to their price, especially. So, a bed is heavy too, but compared to its price, it's not that heavy.
Yeah.
When you go to delivery,
Exactly.
Half of the industry is getting it from one place to another in an efficient fashion. And paying everybody along the way a fair price. And
exactly.
So good. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on this. I know you guys are insanely busy. I also know that you're going places, and so I'm glad to have you on. Thank you for drinking beer. Thank you for making, everything's beer. When I say beer, wine is beer, distilled spirits, everything starts as beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we all agree on that? Right, Jordan? Yes. Everything starts as beer.
Strawberry cactus beer too.
Sometimes I even think bottled water starts as beer, I mean, because it takes a lot of beer to make anything. All right. Well, thanks for being on, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
And we'll be in touch in about a couple of months to see how you guys are doing. Is that all right?
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
All right, man.